Greetings, friends. It's your friendly neighborhood PhD, Dr. Judd Burton, welcoming you to another edition of the Beyond Report, and a few things to go over today. Probably the big piece of news from last week, of course, was the passing of the great Edward Van Halen, the virtuoso guitar player. I'll dive back into that in just a second, but again, if you like the content, click a like, subscribe, and share. I do appreciate it. Eddie Van Halen's passing touches me in ways that are deeply personal. Being a guitarist myself, my introduction to shred guitar was through Edward Van Halen. And I remember the first song that I ever heard was on, it was like a lot of people from my generation, was Jump from the 1984 album. And then of course I was hooked, and I got my hands on every Van Halen album that I possibly could, just because nobody played guitar quite like Eddie Van Halen. And although I'm not active in the music community these days, I'm still, like so many people, affected by Eddie Van Halen's death, because Van Halen's music was such a part of my childhood. So our prayers and thoughts go out to the family of Edward Van Halen, of course his son and his wife. A passing of great monument. He was an innovator, to be sure. In other news, of course, we passed Columbus Day this past week as well, and Columbus Day, of course, continues to be a controversial holiday in this charged political atmosphere that we find ourselves in. I've always seen it as a teaching moment to talk about not only the age of exploration, but also the impact on indigenous peoples in the Americas. And I always pointed out to my students is that Columbus, the only thing Columbus discovered is that he was lost. And in fact, there had been plenty of people from the old world who had already been there. It's likely that members of his own crew, particularly the Basque sailors that were with Columbus, had been to the New World before. Certainly the Norse had been there centuries before Columbus. There's a good case to be made for the Welsh and the Chinese on the other side of the continent. And likely even more antique visitors to the Americas, notably the Phoenicians, since they were the greatest sailors of the ancient world. So Columbus was definitely last in terms of old worlders who had come to the New World. But at any rate, in terms of all things Burton Beyond and the Institute of Biblical Anthropology, there are a couple of new videos that Mike Heiser and I did on his Fringe Pop 321 channel, and they have to deal with satyrs and Azazel and Pan, and some of the work that I've done on the Mount Hermon region. And you can certainly access those on Vimeo, and I'll put links in the description if you want to take a look at those as well. Now, some of you may have seen the Dune analyses that I've been doing. I've done a couple of them, the Beyond Dune series that I launched. Those of you that are Dune fans have probably heard the news that the Villeneuve Dune adaptation that was supposed to be out this December has now been pushed to October. So now we can't see movies when we want to see them. And isn't that fun? I'm also disappointed that because of that, they also pushed the new Batman movie, The Batman, to March of 2021 in terms of release. Now, I guess to an extent I understand this, because they're thinking, these big blockbuster movies, they're not going to be able to pack the theaters like they usually would But I mean, movies like they have been releasing movies, on streaming services like Bill and Ted 3. So I'm not quite sure what the rationale is here beyond the COVID situation. But it's disappointing that the movie's not going to be out for another year, basically. But the good thing about that, I suppose, is that now more people have time to read Dune. I'll have more time to do more videos on Dune, so it'll all work out in the end. But man, after seeing that trailer, I sure was ready to go to the theaters and see Villeneuve's adaptation of Dune. We'll have to wait until next October to actually do that. I also recently appeared on a show called Blurry Creatures, which is largely about cryptids, but the host wanted to know my take on giants, and so we spent a couple of episodes talking about that, and then they wanted to do we did a kind of a Halloween themed episode on folkloric monsters and such, and I'll put a link in the description to their podcast. Really great guys. Tomorrow I'll be recording with Derek Gilbert on his famed View from the Bunker, and also have some promotions going on this week. I've been actively writing on a number of projects, not the least of which is the Göbekli Tepe and the Bible book that Dr. Aaron Judkins and I have been working on. We're looking at a first quarter release, so hopefully January. And before that, I literally have a string of things that'll be coming out, including a book on Christmas. It's 12 days of Christmas Bible studies. That probably will be this week, along with a couple of other books. The Book of the Gray, which will be a series of essays on the history and culture of witchcraft, and a book on paraethnology, my take on applying anthropology to paranormal topics, and a book that I've been pouring a lot of energy into this year when I can anyway, The Van Helsing Way, which is a look at folkloric monsters through the lens of the Bible. And the work that I'm doing with the Institute of Biblical Anthropology right now is largely teaching in terms of coursework. The apprenticeship module, which is 12 courses, is still on sale for $200. I'm actually developing, or have developed, a new 12 module apprenticeship in biblical demonology, which will also go on sale for $200 beginning this next month. So I'm really excited about that. I've already gotten one student has signed up for that, and everybody's certainly welcome. If these are topics that you want to study, you'll certainly get academic rigor when you're studying under me. And look, folks, I know these are trying times, and my prayers go out for everybody. And they're trying times on the pocketbook too. I understand that, and I know you have to prayerfully and carefully think about where you spend your dollars. I just wanted to let you know that from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate you guys that buy my books and buy my studies and courses and things like that. It really means a lot to me, particularly because I've devoted all my time and energy to Burton Beyond and the Institute of Biblical Anthropology. God called me to do this, so that's what I'm doing. And again, I appreciate all of the support and the growing numbers of followers that I've got on the channel. I truly do appreciate it. All right, coming up, there'll be some more Quick Classics episodes and some Antiquity X stuff and another Dune analysis before you know it. And again, I'll put all those links in the description that I talked about in terms of videos and podcast appearances and things like that. So coming to you live here from Merkel, right in my study. We'll be seeing you soon, I know. And again, thank you all. And until next time, Godspeed.